I did that to Tomboy, who did not even have D minus. So when we look at these things, please understand what we are saying contextually. Joho, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, is a complete failure in all spheres of life. Not just academically, intellectually, ethically, strategically, policy-wise. Everything about him is a failure. And on top of it, he's a criminal because he's an organized criminal selling drugs. We cannot have a country with no values, where everything goes, and people demand of you to be able to tell them, oh, Joe has not been convicted. How do you expect a criminal to be convicted in Kenya? Nobody gets convicted. The head of public prosecutions is in conflict with EACC because he wants, or he purportedly backdated a letter saying that he terminated a case against Oparanya so that he can clear the way for Oparanya to be a cabinet secretary. When everyone, even a gardener working for the government, must have EACC clearance certificate. But Oparanya apparently is not supposed to have one. So please, we are talking of a much more serious problem than this thing about grades. And yes, Marge is right, everybody else, Kingsman, I was not talking about every Kenyan and saying they cannot get to a point where they overcome this issue about grades. I said inability, incapacity to understand and to conceptualize public policy. That's not about grades. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. for clarifying that. I'd like to say that we still have a lot of requests coming up. So those who've spoken, kindly drop the mic and leave the opportunity for others. We're going 2 minutes each. Anthony, William, and then His Excellency in that order. Anthony, can you hear me? William? His Excellency? Okay. Everyone on the panel, if you can hear me and want to speak, raise your hand. The rest who are not speaking will have to drop them.
Yes, hello. Hello.
Okie dokie. Anthony, we called you. Please open your mic, unmute your mic and speak.
His Excellency is speaking, Marge. Okay. Can you not hear His Excellency?
No. Okay, then
hello, Marge. Can you hear me? Marge, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Excellency. Then I will give other people.
Okay, I can hear him now. Let him go. No.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. And first of all, to congratulate Daktari. What he has said is very true. But my question to Daktari, as for now, he knows we don't have opposition leaders. All of them has been captured by the government. So him too, he used to be in opposition leaders, but nowadays he's not talking the way he used to talk. So how are we going to solve our issues and problems? And what are some of the issues we youth are supposed to reiterate so that the government, we make sure that the government do as we wanted? Those ones were my question. Anyway, thank you so much.
Magic, go on, is done.
Thank you, Hilary. Let me try to cue the next person. If I can still not hear them, then I will drop and come back. Anthony, can you hear me? Okay, Hilary, can you check if Anthony can hear you? Then I'll, because his hand's raised up and he's not speaking. Or Kingsman, check.
I can see Karani. Karani can go.
Oh, Kaira, Marge. Oh, Kings, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kaira can hear you. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Thank you so much. I just want to be grateful for this opportunity to have my submissions on this space. I just want to say that, just to be brief, I just want to say that our country is are captive of political classes, or other political class, so to speak. And I think the only way we can overcome this is by way of revolution. Because we have come to trust politicians so much, but it has come to our realization that there's no way they can be able to help us. The only thing that they can do is to enslave us. They are there not for us, but for their own interests. And I've just been seeing the interviews that has been going on by the parliament, and we cannot really say that our political institutions have failed. If somebody comes and tells us that he's worth 600 million or 2-point-something billion, and they're not being asked how did they get this wealth that they have, then you can agree with me that there is a big problem. You can also see the nominees from ODM. They have been criticizing the government, but now they seem to be done.
Can you hear him, Kaira?
No, he's gone silent, Maj.
Okay, before he comes back, Anthony, kindly proceed. I think somebody called him. Okay. If Anthony is not hearing, Patrick or Jeff?
Patrick, can you hear Maj? All right. Alicia, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You're muted again.
I'm sorry. I'd like to address the question about the opposition without without a leader. I think that is the best structure, actually, because when you decenter power or a single leader, it's very difficult for people to dismantle the movement because they can't remove a single figurehead and say that the opposition is not there. So I think, and I really I've heard this so many times, that why doesn't Gen Z have a leader? I think that's a very horrible question to ask, because you're not doing this for a leader. You're doing this for yourself, for your kids, for your country, if you love your country. And the other thing I would also like to address is whatever the doctor said here about the West really interfering in our leadership. I really believe that that is true. And I think that is one of the neocolonial dynamics that we're facing right now. Because as he said, if one white person was killed during these protests, they would have him removed. They would have Ruto removed from presidency immediately. So I feel like this is one of the things that is really, and maybe I can explain more. We've seen that a lot of people are being shipped outside the country to work in the West. So I'm really saying that, wow, this is part of neocolonialism, because we are shipping our own labor. This is called brain drain. Like, we are draining our own country of labor that we have created. So we can't even build our own country, because most people will want to go to a country that they're being appreciated, not in the way that their Western compadres are being appreciated, but more than they are being appreciated in Kenya. The other thing I was also saying is that the more we also say that, oh, I would really like to leave this country, we have this unsustainable economic model that, people are just depending on remittances for developing the country. And the other thing that maybe not a lot of people have seen is that as much as we're shipping people outside, you'll see a lot of new companies coming up in Kenya, and most of them are Western owned. There are very few Kenyan owned companies that are coming up in Kenya. So I think that that's a very big problem that we should also address right now during this talk. The other thing I would also like to address is
Alicia, and then you need to land, because we have 2 minutes each per speaker, and I think this is the second time you're speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's be considerate. Back to you.
Okay. Let me just end it there and give the floor to someone else.
Thank you so much. We'll circle you back because we have less ladies speaking, and we'll circle you back again. We would like to request Gen Zs to come to the mic. I think Kara, who didn't finish speaking, has just dropped. And I would like to request that we center our discussions to the Nanenane that's upcoming. Those who have questions, please channel them to Dr. Miguna and Dr. Mkawasi. I see you on the mic, because that way we're not going to have at least a space with the Miguna before Nanenane. So let's have the topic surrounding there, and really just be concrete, because for other things like the reforms that he has already also talked about and pointed out that we're talking about, that we can talk about at a different time point, but let's just try to be precise and just stay within the topic. And that having been said, Anthony, this is the last call. Let's see if you can speak. Then you go to Jeff, Wakili, Patrick, and Seven in that order, 2 minutes each. Anthony? Okie dokie. Jeff, then Wakili and Seven. Wakili, can you hear me? Or who can hear me on the mic? Others I'll drop and come back.
Yes, you're loud and clear.
I can hear you.
Okay, Patrick, take a go. If you're on the mic, you cannot hear me and you're not speaking, we'll just give you a chance once, then we'll need to drop you, because that is how people end up messing with our spaces. Some of them just come and they stay on the mic and within minutes you see a lot of technical challenges. Patrick, take a go.
Yeah, mine, Marge, is thanks for host and co-host and for Daktari for saying all the things that he has said. I just wanted to encourage revolutionaries and to say that, Nanenane must happen and we have to keep on pushing. But I wanted to just reflect with us that if Nanenane is happening in Nairobi, I think the future we should be looking for is Nanenane happening in all the 47 counties and focusing on a Ruto in that county that needs to go. Because I think we now have one side versus the movement. And one side means what was formerly opposition is now government. And so if we're saying Ruto must go at the national level, I think we're also saying the governors who come from that opposition party that has joined government must also go, so that we devolve the movement and get the numbers and get the action happening at the outposts as it is happening in Nairobi. That's the revolutionary spirit that I would like to see. Let's mobilize more people. Let's get more anger into this. Let's increase the sites where civic mobilization is taking place. Let us also bring in all the groups that we can bring in. Let's talk to the generations. I like the idea of Gen Zote that has begun concretizing and people talking about Gen Zote instead of just one generation. Let us also continue still saying that this is tribeless, because I think it's important and the country needs it. That fresh air is needed every other corner. And let's just go viva. I mean, that's what I wanted to share, just a word of encouragement. And thanks for organizing the space. And thanks for being so kind every often to give people some 2 minutes to talk about these things.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for that. We go to Jess Mjama, Wakili, and then Wycliffe. Okay, I've had to remove Jeff because that was the third call. Who can speak on the mic? Carry your hands, please. Sorry, on the panel. Okay, Western, go.
Thanks, Marge and Hillary and Dr. Miguna, and all of you on this forum. Mine is to say that Nanenane is imperative, and subsequently, the protest must happen. Why? Because we have a failed state. We have a decayed state. And clearly, the Ruto and this government are completely clueless vis-a-vis taking this country forward. You can see from the vetting, you ask yourself, what was the point of the so-called dismissal of the cabinet secretaries who are there before? Because the ones who are being vetted, they're just as clueless, just as mediocre, just as depraved morally. So what does it imply? It implies that the state is decayed. Opposition. These people are not the opposition. They masqueraded. Raila Odinga was masquerading as an opposition leader. He was not. He's a cynic. He also thinks just like William Ruto and those who came before him. So he hasn't betrayed us, because for people committed to a better Kenya, to reform, to change, to a total overhaul of this political, economic, and social architecture, have not had Raila Odinga as one of the people who can midwife that change. So he's not betrayed us. He's just done the cynical politics that he has engaged in since time immemorial. So what is the way forward? The way forward is that we have to wrestle the country back. We have to bring to an end this feudal system whereby a few people are entitled to privileges regardless of how they behave. They can murder, they can steal, they can break the law with impunity, but still they're rewarded and they masquerade as our leaders. That must stop, and they're not going to stop it because it's in their interest that they continue loading it over us. So we, the millions who are at the receiving end, have to wrestle the country back into our hands, and we reset the country values, social justice, constitutionalism, equity, justice, fair play, these things to be part and parcel of our public and moral life. Viva, thank you.
Thank you so much, Weston. And as we proceed, I see that Dr. giving you thumbs up there. I think you really resonated with his thoughts. As we proceed, let's not forget to build the network. So follow the host, the co-host, the speakers, look left and right and follow each other. And this is going to come handy. Wilson, I see you. Thanks. This is going to come handy when you have a message to amplify. The more followers you have, the better, because it gets out, especially now that people are still being abducted. There are people who are complaining and saying, no, they did not notify anyone about our missing because we had less followers. So do follow each other. Wilson, over to you.
Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to each and every one of us. Thank you very much, Marge and Hillary, Dr. and everyone who is here with us. I have a very, very quick one that I want to say before I forget. First of all, when we say we are going to the street, I suggest we go to the street. I've seen at some point that we are in the street and some people are busy having space meetings. That's very bad, because I think when we are on the street, it don't help us unless you want to give us direction. Killers are coming from this side, let's go the other side. In case you are not doing so, you are not helping us. If we decide we are going to on such a date, for example, we have a Nanenane coming ahead of us, let's re-strategize, let's plan for it and wait for it eagerly, knowing that there's something ahead of us that we want to do. Secondly, I think that we should not even think about the cabinet vetting, because they are not vetting anything. Those are their people. I know these people in person. Those people, they are there because they have what those people want. They are their calibers. A thief will always have a friend who is also a thief. If you are a thief, your friends must be thieves. For example, this guy who was claiming to be the Gen Z leader, this called Baraza, he shot somebody and killed instantly. What did they do? They cover up. The Kagombe thing, this guy from Kiambu, he killed somebody. They cover up. So all these people, the only way that can really help us, the only way we can get our nation back, our country back, is just by going there, taking what is rightfully belongs to us. Me and you, we come up, we team up with our flags, water and everything, because I know they'll surely do it to us. But we must get our country back. The issue of let's forget about the Joe and those nonsense. We cannot help. We are in our houses, but when we go to the street in good numbers, we have our strength in numbers. Thank you so much. That's what I really wanted to pass, and I really want to encourage us. Kindly, please, let's do it together. Let's go. Let's go. Not that some people, Gen Z, millennial, all those X and everybody, let's go, because there's a time all of us must go. If we feel angry, let's all of us feel angry in the streets. Thank you so much, and God bless you. God bless us. God bless Kenya.
Thank you so much, Wilson. Let's go by Wycliffe and then Wakili Ndegwa and then Lekisho. Lekisho, you kept dropping. I'm glad you came back. Wycliffe, you dropped also. Those are sometimes people tell us that they've been removed from the space. No, it's a technical issue of people dropping. So Wycliffe, are you able to speak?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, kindly proceed.
Good evening, everyone. So I want to contribute. I think I want to agree with the General Miguna on this issue, because all along these people have been on the same side, and so by them moving to support the government is not something new. They've always been part of that government anyway. This is actually also an eye-opener to us that the fight is on our side, and we need to keep focused, like the way Dr. keeps on saying. All this vetting you're seeing with the CSS, those are how does Miguna call it? Abracadabra. Because if you look at how they are vetting even the CSS, there's nothing concrete coming out of this conversation or this vetting. And so as a team, if we kept the same momentum when we began of going to the streets and picketing and protesting, we would have won this war a long time ago. We just dropped the ball along the way. But I think the most important thing is we need to refocus and come back and now have a very formidable force again. Okay? So I want to agree with this team, and I want to assure you that I'm also part of this. And Viva, let's continue pushing. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you so much, Wycliffe. We go to Wakili Ndegwa, and then Lekisho, and then 6,000.
Thank you. Thank you very much, listeners and fellow comrades, fellow fighters, fellow members in council, comrades in the struggle. I am so happy this evening, having listened to the submissions by our able doctor. I have never seen a man who has remained consistent and predictable like Daktari. And most importantly, when it comes to describing those characters. And one of the characters that he has consistently demystified and explained to us is this man, Raila Odinga. I cannot agree with him more that he is a conman, he's a political conman, he's a betrayer, and that is a man who has never, ever focused on becoming what he has decided to be. Having said that, I think our focus then is to see how we are going to liberate this country. There is no doubt that Kenyans have resolved that we need a change. It is no doubt that Kenyans have agreed that we need change. And they have also agreed